Good morning. Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America, and hello to anyone watching on replay. My name is Nancy Hetker. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Melbourne, Australia. And today I'm going to be showing you how to do some watercoloring with what I'm calling Scenic Stamps, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I wanted to hopefully have a few more people on here, but they'll catch up on replay, I suppose. I wanted to let you know a couple things. First of all, as is no big surprise to any of us living here in Melbourne, we're told yesterday we are going back into phase 3 restrictions here in Melbourne for 6 weeks, starting at 11:59 tonight. So that means, like August 19th is the earliest we can come out from that. And that just means we, once again, have only 4 reasons to leave our house. We can't have anyone over, blah, blah, blah. So I had already made the call to make my July monthly card class kit and online only because, it had been circling closer and closer. So like I said, not a big surprise to us, but it's definitely confirmed. So I wanted to give you a sneak peek of my July class projects because if you are in Australia, you can order a kit from me and I will ship it out to you. Or anywhere in the world, you can order the written instructions and play along. So just real fast sneak peek. You can use whatever supplies you like to make these cards. I'm using current product, but especially something like these, any designer series paper will do. These have some more specialized things on them, but even so, you could find substitutes to do. So there are the cards. And then just to give you a taste of what the directions are, you get a good sized picture of the project, the measurements, the supplies and the measurements in both centimeters and inches, and then step-by-step directions and pictures if I think it's something that you need for clarification. There will be an online Zoom assembly session, which is here in Australia. That will be on Saturday, the 18th, and if you're in North America, that would be Friday evening. And yeah, so you can play along, and I'll probably record it and stick it up make it available for people who buy it and don't get to join in the live if they want to. Although I tend not to be showing very much during those assembly sessions. It's just there to answer questions and keep you company while you do it. So that's available. There are links on my blog and on my website, and I will try to remember to put them in the notes for the videos as well. I would love to have people play along. I think it's pretty affordable. It's $30 Australian to get the kit and the instructions, and it's $20 Australian, so less than 20 US for just the written instructions. So there you go. That's that plug. So today's project, full disclosure, it's been a couple years since I've done this technique. I kind of went through and refreshed what I thought I knew about it, but I haven't done a trial run, but we're going to have some fun playing and experimenting. So this is what I'm calling Scenic Stamps. This is Waterfront. That's the first of the ones, and it's been out for a couple years now. My Meadow came out earlier this year in the June, right? In the January to June mini catalog. There was Snowfront was in last year's holiday catalog, and there's another one in this year's August to December mini catalog. So I thought it might be kind of fun to pull these out and You know, there's straightforward stamping. I did a Facebook Live using the My Meadow to do some scenes, straight up stamping. But there's some fun things to do to build scenes and using some watercolor techniques in there too. So I thought I would play with that. And this is, like I said, I did this technique a couple years ago, and it was prompted by Linda Dalkey, who happens to be an Australian demonstrator. And I will put a link to her video as well, because she did a very good job explaining it, which is how I learned to. And what she said she did was search on the internet for landscape photographs that she thought would make good watercolor scenes with these stamps. So that's what I did last night, and I pulled up this one and printed it out. This is an inspiration picture. This is not going to, my final product is not going to look like this one exactly. But like I said, it's an inspiration, and it gives me something to look at and something to kind of structure around. So we will see how it goes. I'm going to set that aside. Excuse me. The key component for this technique is to use watercolor paper, because we're going to be layering ink and using water to blend it, and you want the nice thick paper with texture that will absorb and let that water play. How am I going to start? I'm going to start by dampening up the paper a bit, and you want to have a nice clear spot that you don't mind getting some things wet. This is just, well, Stampin' Up! Sells spritzers, but I've cleaned out a eyeglasses cleaning solution bottle because I'm cheap like that, and I think it sprays quite nicely. And I have the new water painter pens on order, but my order is sitting waiting to be fulfilled in New South Wales. So I'm just using our old aqua painters, and I'm getting a nice wet surface so that ink can play. And to start with, I'm going to be doing a layer to make both this kind of crisp horizon line and some sky background. And to do that, I'm actually going to use one of our clear blocks, and I'm starting with Petal Pink, and I'm just going to press that on the block. And I'm going to move off camera for a second and spritz it a little bit with some water so I get good movement. And I'm actually going to stamp it off lightly here on my paper. And now I'm going to come about a third of the way down. And you're like, oh, the sky, why are you doing the pink? Because if you look at this picture, there's actually quite a lot of pink in that sky. So I'm holding that on there. There we go. And I'm going to clean that off because that looks like a mess waiting to happen. Set that aside. I'm just going to let that do its thing for a little bit. And then I'm going to, so I have mounted up a bunch of these stamps mostly from Waterfront. And I'm going to grab Mossy Meadow, and I'm going to start here, I'm going to put in this row, I think. So I'm going to use this kind of straight line and I'm going to do it like that. And I'm going to turn it over and do it from the other side, like that. And I don't know if you can see, but this side where it's wetter, it's kind of bleeding a bit, but oh, that's so pretty. And it's so cool. It's gonna do good things. So now I'm gonna come in, that was Mossy Meadow. I'm gonna come in with some Misty Moonlight, I think. And I'm gonna do building up some mountains up from that water. Like so. Some more. I'm gonna bring my aqua painter back in a little bit, and I'm gonna, so you can see when you add the water, you can soften stuff up and make it a little more, not as defined, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And I'm gonna come in with this one, I think. Do that one here. Stamp that one off. I'm gonna bridge right there. And again, add some water in there. I'm completely making this up as I go. Hey, Roseanne. How are you? And I've got a big blob of water there. One of the things I've heard about the new water painters is that they have better water control, which will be a nice thing, I think. So I want to get a little more mountains in the distance kind of look. So I think what I want to do is stamp off. And try to do kind of like that. And I'm gonna shift over, I think, to, this is Seaside Spray. We're gonna give that a try here. Right there. And one more here with the big one. And the Seaside Spray. Let's see how this goes. So I'm just doing, again, some blending here. Kind of see the effects I get. That one I want to kind of see if I can. Yeah, that's better. I don't know. Like I said, we're just seeing the effects we get here. Okay. Let's see about getting some water going. Sorry, I'm just looking at my stamps, figuring out what I want to use. I think I want to use this guy. Okay, and this has gone really dry. So I'm gonna add some more water to the, right on the ink pad. One of the things that we have coming in our new water painters is a broad brush like this. This is one I had back when my kids were little, and I used to give them those paint with water coloring books in the car on car trips. And this is how they did the water. So now I want to keep a little bit of white in there to be kind of like a beach. So I don't want to cover that up too much. But then I'm going to turn this one, instead of being a mountain, now it's going to be some water. That out, soften it up a little bit. And again, right on that open ink pad. Yeah. And now we're going to start building up some land down here, I think. And as I add some layers of it, it adds a little more texture in there, which is good for the water. You can turn it around so you get different effects. There we go. Hey everybody, glad you could join me. And I'm going to add some more stuff. Just need to kind of figure out what I'm doing here. I think we're going to put some pine trees in over here. See, and you put something like that, and it just puts the whole thing in a different perspective, I find, which is pretty fun. And yes, this is coming together a little bit differently than I had originally kind of envisioned in my head, but you know, that's the neat thing. Just for people who've joined me partway through, what I do is I went out on the internet and I found an inspiration picture. And as I said when I started, this is not going to wind up looking like the inspiration picture per se. It is really just for inspiration to kind of give me an idea of where to position things and an idea of how things might look in nature. Thinking and rethinking about what I actually want to do. I don't think it's that one. I think it's a different stamp. I think it's this one that I really want to do. Little kind of reedy cattail thingies, maybe towards the edge of the pond. We'll see. Those might be a mistake. But we're gonna go with them. So the key for this is plenty of water on the watercolor paper so the colors kind of blend and bleed. I love how that has bled there. I'm going to go in and add some more sky blue, or some more blue in the sky up here. Including more water to help soften that in a little bit, hopefully. Should have put more water on before I stamped it, but that's okay. We'll make it work. And we'll just go ahead now and add some water in there, because I'm going to add some more blue. Kind of brush that in a bit. See, and I can just keep layering up color until I get it the way I want it, or I decide I've gone too far. Because I do want it to be blue sky, but I do want it to have that pinky undertone. Like my inspiration picture. I'm going to bring that back in to show you again. See what you can see here. And what else are we going to do? Anything? I do know what I want to do. I'm going to let this dry just a bit more up here at the top. Wondering about, no, I kind of like it. I like it. I like it. Don't futz. It's always knowing when to stop, when it's actually enough. Not sure how much you guys can see. I'll show you a couple things that I really like about how this turned out, and hopefully I can get some good light on it to see. I don't know if you can see. Remember I went in and I filled in some blue over here. I had the ground and that ground, and I filled in a little bit of blue. Well, it's kind of peeking through the trees there and there. And you'll probably be able to see it on the finished card when I have a nice clear picture. My feed is kind of blurry. The replay is probably clearer. But I'm liking this. I also really like how where we got a bunch of water there, it really kind of faded out, so a misty kind of purple color there. I don't know why it took me so long to come back to this. This is very satisfying. If you like sort of impressionistic watercolory thing, this is very fun. Even more so than just the stamps by themselves. Adding the water just takes it to a whole new level. So it's very fun. I'm still waiting for the sky to dry just another moment or so. I'm just going to clean out this brush. You just give it a squeeze and wipe it on some towel or on your chamois, and the ink just rinses right out. And I'm going to close up a couple stamp pads here. Clean off this stamp. And now I'm going to come in with my, what I think is going to be my last touch here. I've got, these are from the My Meadow. These are a couple little boids. I'm going to try to do them just right up here, I think. There we go. I likes that. Okay, so let me move these guys out of the way so we have room. To work on trying to mount mount this up, and it's still a little bit wet, but I think we'll be fine. I brought a couple of options for mounting. I wasn't sure. Sometimes it's really nice to just put it on a crisp black mat. Black. Or the misty moonlight. I think misty moonlight, but I don't think I've cut these quite the right dimensions, and I do think I want okay, I'll be right back while I cut this. Oh my goodness. Being so indecisive here. Okay, yes. I think this is the way to get it the right size. Okay, once more. I think that's going to be the base. Now the question is black, black. Yep, that just makes it pop a lot more. Okay, and then the one other question I had is I have these corner, what do they call them? Antiqued corners and slides elements, but I was just going to do the corners. I was thinking about it. What do you think? With or without the antique corners? Can you get a sense of it there? As always, I get competing opinions. I'm just going to let it sit here for a moment. See if anyone else wants to weigh in. I'm kind of on the no also. I might do another one before I put everything away with, we'll see. Okay, now this isn't quite dry like I said, but it should work fine. I put in an order last week, and like I said, it's still sitting in picking, at least as of last night. I think because they were waiting, I ordered the Peony Garden suite, and I think they were waiting for an element of that was on back order to come back in stock, and then they're going to ship everything to me. I did order a few things out of the new mini, but not a whole lot as of right now. There we go. There. There's that. And to recap from the top of the broadcast, since not everybody was here, I'll bring that back in a moment, but since here in Melbourne, I anticipated that we were going to go back on lockdown, and we are. As of basically midnight tonight, we're back into phase 3. Only 4 reasons to leave your house, and going to crafting class is not one of them. And that's for the next 6 weeks. So my July monthly card class is now by kit or written instruction with an online Zoom session for assembly. If you are in Australia, I'm happy to sell you and mail you a kit. Or anywhere in the world, I'm happy to do instructions only. Here are the 5 cards that we'll be doing for 5, not that one. And then when you get the instructions, you get a good sized picture, all of the supplies that you need, and then cutting measurements in both centimeters and inches, and then a sheet of directions, including pictures if there's something that I think is particularly beneficial to help you do it. You can use any supplies you have on hand. You don't have to have the current product that I'm using, although obviously some of them, it's just going to be a different card if you don't have that particular product. It's nancysniftynotes.com. You can order whatever you want. The directions are $20 Australian, and to get a kit in Australia, it's $30 for all the materials pre-cut and the directions. So pretty affordable, great way to have a crafting session. July 18 at 1 p.m. Melbourne time, or it's Friday evening in North America, and I'd love to have everybody play along. It'd be great fun. But I'll bring this back in for you. This was my card today. I hope if you have any of these scene creating stamps, scene building stamps, you give this technique a try. It's very forgiving, it's very fun, and you know, what do you have to lose? A little piece of watercolor paper if you don't like how it turned out, right? So it's very fun. Give it a try. And I will see you back here again next week, same time, same place. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.